words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be always acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Please be seated. Well, we're coming close to the end of our creation season, and today our topic is climate change. We used to call it global warming, but now we know it is much more complicated and nuanced than that. The Episcopal Church officially prefers the term climate crisis, and what a dicey topic it is, one that can be oh so polarizing. Our first reading gets right to the heart of it. A flood that killed almost every living creature on the earth. That is certainly a crisis of the climate. But Noah's Ark is also a common theme for little kids and baby stuff. Nurseries, clothing, blankets. If you think about it, it's kind of messed up. A story about God being so angry with creation that he destroyed almost all of it? Can you imagine the fear that must have been present on the ark as, quote, all existence on earth was blotted out from the earth? And the smell? Not exactly the same cutesy vibe that the Pottery Barn Kids blanket of Noah's Ark has. But surely, there was also great trust and faith coming from Noah and his family. Otherwise, they would not have done all that they did. It is that kind of trust and faith that we all must find in order to get us through any kind of crisis, climate or otherwise. So even with all that said, I've been partial to this story for a long time. In elementary school, I attended a Presbyterian church and was in the choir and dance choir. And that is where much of my early spiritual formation happened. We did cantatas every year, kind of like a musical for church. We did Jonah and the Whale, Adam and Eden, and 100% Chance of Rain. In some ways, theology geared to kids doesn't tell the whole story. A lot of the gory parts kind of get glossed over. And yet, in other ways, it's actually more truthful, as it is all about God is love. I still remember some of the snippets of the songs. You ready? It's gonna rain, 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 rain. It's gonna rain, 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 rain. It's gonna rain, 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 rain. 100% chance of rain. Oh, wait, there's more. But the other one is the more important one, but I only remember part of it. It rained for 40 days, it did. It also rained at night. But when the sun came out, this is the part I don't remember, at the sign of the rainbow. And that's what I want to focus on today. Do you see in your bulletin that gorgeous rainbow that's right under the part for the sermon? You know that feeling of peace and awe and it's all going to be okay that you can get from a rainbow? Or perhaps you have another image. Maybe it's sunsets, puppy videos, or the giggle of a young child. It's important to know what your thing is to help you recalibrate, to get back to center, because life can be challenging. We need to know what our touchstones are so we're able to hear God say, I got you. Get to know and cherish moments like this when we can settle our internal climate. For I believe that's where it all has to start. Yes, it's important to recycle, use renewable energy, practice regenerative farming, save the whales, all the things. But if our innermost self is not truly coming from a place of unconditional love, then our internal climate will negatively affect our external climate. Have you heard the phrase, as within, so without? Even though it's creation season and it may make more sense to talk about the external climate, for today, I was drawn to the internal. For I think that as a society, our internal climates are in crisis as well. This is the thoughts and feelings that cause storms to rage inside, in your innermost being, the true you, the one that Jesus keeps inviting into relationship over and over. It's sometimes tricky to get to this place. One way to do so is think about intention. I was reminded about the importance of intention recently in an example given by author Gary Zukov in his book, Spiritual Partnership. He told of two mothers who were both sending their children to college. One wanted her son to learn all that he could so he could live a life most fulfilling to him. The other mother wanted her son to go to college so she could brag to all the mothers in the neighborhood about his success. On paper, the results may look the same, but the energy, the intention behind them is completely different, and thus will produce significantly different outcomes. It may seem a bit woo-woo to talk about the power of intention, but as Christians, or any people of faith, we profess that we believe in prayer, and I hope we do all believe in it, even if we don't always understand it. But on a basic level, it is just what is in your heart that you're putting out there. This could be said of prayer or intention, and it matters. As within, so without. One snag we often run into is that we don't often really understand what is truly in our hearts, what our internal climate is actually like. We put on a mask. This is what I'm supposed to think, how I'm supposed to behave. But the wires keep getting crossed because it's not really what our truth actually is. In the external world, many factors affect climate, such as latitude, altitude, proximity to large bodies of water, and so on. And as those things shift and change, the daily weather changes as well. There are also many things that affect our internal climate. I've heard them described recently by several different sources, so I probably should pay attention, as the various parts of us. There's the kind part, the fearful part, the patient part, the angry part, lots of parts. And what determines our reaction to any given circumstance is which parts are in charge at that time. Who is driving the bus, or who is getting more court time? And as we learn more about external climate and come to better understand how the various things affect it and how we can help shift it, we know we need to work with all the factors and not try to outsmart Mother Nature. The same is true for healing our internal climate. It is important to understand that it's not about suppressing or eradicating or calling evil those parts of us that we find less than optimal. It's about acknowledging these parts, listening to what they have to say and teach us, and then working to heal the hurt and the fear that's causing those parts to act in a certain way. Then they can use their energy to help us get further where we want to go. But as we are doing this work and observing others wrestling with it as well, I want to make sure we don't have an incorrect understanding about the order of things. We don't have to fix our internal climates to be worthy in God's eyes or to become His beloved. Rather, we are God's beloved, and thus we are called to do this work. This idea often runs counter to the prevailing norms of society, so it can be hard to wrap our heads around the fact that we don't have to be a certain way for God to love and cherish us, and neither does anyone else. When our internal climates are aligned with this, then that ripple effect goes out, and it helps us give that grace to others as well. In our Wednesday night Just Faith class on poverty, we've been reading one of the books by Gregory Boyles, who works with Homeboy Industries, a gang rehabilitation group. I love much of what he writes, but this one excerpt really spoke to me. Quote, "Working on yourself doesn't move the dial on God's love. After all, that is already fixed at the highest setting. But the work one does seeks to align our lives with God's longing for us, that we be happy, joyful, and liberated from all that prevents us from seeing ourselves as God does. That's the kind of internal climate I want." He goes on to say, "God won't be loving a homie more if he stops gangbanging. God only has this holy longing to free us from terror and anxiety. A byproduct of knowing this is behavior change." When our internal climate is at peace, we can make our external climates peaceful as well. We are all God's beloved, all parts of ourselves, and all the people. My prayer is that we can truly know this, for then our internal climate will radiate out more love and peace, and start to heal the external climate as well. Are y'all up for some practice? You can close your eyes if you wish, or just have a soft gaze. And breathe in this knowing that God's love for you is already at the highest setting. Breathe in the knowing that God's holy longing for you is to be free of terror and anxiety, to be joyful. Beautiful, thank you. We have to start with ourselves to get our internal climate to the right setting. Then we can know all of the people are God's beloved, and that God has the same holy longing for each and every one. So remember, climate's not just about the weather. There's also a climate among a group, like a fear or suspicion, or of love and trust. I believe it's our job as followers of Jesus to work on the climate within ourselves and among our neighbors. And all are our neighbors. Even when people behave in a way that is destructive, they are still God's beloved. Now, please don't misunderstand. The hurts inflicted are real, and they must be acknowledged and amends made. They don't get to be passed over and ignored. But the hurts are not the whole story. Doing a bad thing does not make me a bad person. When we can see this truth for ourselves, then we can see it for others as well. And that's the shifting of the climate I'm talking about at all levels. Buddhist teacher Cynthia Borstein has said, quote, "When we see clearly, we behave impeccably." Please join me in working to calm our inner climates so we can see clearly and then relish the impeccable behavior that follows. And I believe this will be the spark to start getting our weather climate crisis out of crisis mode. You don't have to build an ark, but you do have to listen for and respond to God's call from you, his beloved. Amen.